Welcome to Local Living. I'm your host, Nicole Reynolds. Now joining me today from Fast Fit Body Sculpting is Doug Zuko. Doug, thanks for being with me today.
Thanks for having me.
All right, so we always kind of talk about fast fit in women, but this is also for men. So how does it work for them?
Absolutely. And you know, when men lose weight, it's very easy for a man to lose weight, but the problem is when they don't eat enough, they lose a lot of muscle. So you'll notice when men come to fast fit, they actually gain muscle. They look good. Most of the time when men lose weight, they look like a melted candle. Just the skin's dripping off them. They look thin. People say, oh, you look thin. They don't say you look good.
Right.
So we want to look good. So we have a picture of a fella. He's 62 years old. His name's Tim. And look at his muscle. 62 years old. He didn't lose any muscle. He actually gained muscle. But he lost 10 pounds of pure fat, which happens to be visceral fat, and I will show you that in a minute. But just look at the difference in Tim at age 62, in less than 60 days, 10 pounds of pure fat gone.
Still has that muscle, doesn't have that like thin look that you're talking
Exactly.
about. Now you mentioned the visceral fat. Let's talk about some of the dangers of fat.
Well, people don't understand a lot of times the difference. Fat can get into the liver, into the kidneys. This is actually a picture of the subcutaneous and visceral fat. And there's a picture of the liver itself. So that's what happens when visceral fat can get into the liver. The liver becomes fatty. And 80% of Americans, this is a scary statistic, 80% of Americans have some degree of a fatty liver.
I'm one of those. Very small. They told me very, very small, but it's amazing what the slightest things you can do to help with that.
Well, when you reduce visceral fat, great things happen for the liver, I promise you.
And then the other thing that it helps is the heart.
Absolutely, and we have a photo of the heart too, and this is what happens when visceral fat gets around the heart. And I don't want to get into my story, but that's why I started all this, because I had a heart attack, guy working out all the time, eating right, still had the heart attack because of visceral fat. So, you know, here's the thing. Men are tough. We don't worry about what's going to happen until it happens.
Right.
And when it happens, it's very scary. So everyone should at least come in and get a body analysis, find out how much visceral fat they have, find out, we tell them everything, right? Muscle mass, we do complete body analysis, fat analysis, health analysis, the whole 9 yards. It's more of an education to learn how you can help yourself.
And that visceral fat is the deep, deep fat. You have a success story. Let's talk about some other success stories, and we'll start with Jamar.
And Jamar is a prime example. Age 71 years old. Look at his belly. It looks very, very distorted. Jamar, amazing results. 12 pounds of fat in a very short period of time, and look at the difference.
Now, I know the segment was mostly about the men, but I do want to talk about the women, of course. So we're going to talk about Jane.
And Jane, age 60, a prime example of a woman with that apple figure with visceral fat, and look at the difference. Look at her skin quality. Just, she got her shape back. Age 60, she looks amazing.
And if any of our viewers want to go through this education process that you were kind of talking about, what's the best way to get into contact with you?
1-800-FAST-FIT, give us a call, come on in, and basically we're just going to sit down with you, and we're not going to sell you on what we do. We're going to educate you about what we do. And once you learn, everybody says the same thing when they come in. This makes sense.
And a big thank you. And you also have a special offer going on.
We absolutely do. Be one of the first 20 callers when we're going to have up to 60% off.
Oh my goodness, that's a big number. To lose a big number of fat.
Right now, first 20 callers. Right?
All right, well, everybody call on in. Doug, thank you so much for being with me today. Always a pleasure having you.
Thanks for having me.
And thank you everyone at home for watching Local Living. We'll see you next time.